Hi and welcome to this video log with me, Wayne, from swimmingcyclingrunning.com. Well, it's been a busy time for me, so I haven't vlogged very much lately. I've been out to a camp, I've been busy because we're short of staff at the club, and I went out to Cape Verde because I had to go out there to do some things. So it's been rather busy and I haven't vlogged. But what I wanted to vlog about was setting up a swim camp, which a lot of people perhaps want to do and don't quite know how, and how it should go, how it feels on a swim camp and what you can do. Okay, so whether you're doing a swim camp or a triathlon camp or any other kind of camp, the same process has to be gone through. You've got to think about what stress you can put your athletes through, so the maximum stress you want to put them through, and whether you're going to do that gradually over a week so you maximize at the end, or whether you're actually going to maximize it in the middle and then come off and practice other skills once you've got that generally good feeling that, yeah, we've done the hard work. So you can see the thought processes behind doing a camp, and how you have to assess the maximum you think you can put your athletes through, and you have to be fairly accurate with that. I have seen camps where coaches have overstressed their athletes. But they've actually said, one coach turned around to me and said, I didn't expect anyone to be able to do this. Well, to my mind, that is completely wrong. You're already stressing people out more than they normally get stressed. And to then expect them to fail, I think, is an error. So, to my mind, you have to work on what the maximum you think they can feasibly do as an achievement. And then you've got an achievement, not a failure. And I think that's hugely important. But overall, it's up to you whether you have the maximum at the end or the maximum in the middle. A lot of triathlon camps would ramp up the distance right to the end. I prefer ramping up the distance and then going into speed work and some skills and some quality work that you can do after that as you're starting to recover. Now, the first thing to decide in a camp to a large extent is the format you're going to take. The format we were going to take is building up to a hardest day. Now, in my estimation, our best swimmers, our top swimmers in our top lane, we have 3 lanes, would be able to do 7,500 metres in 2 hours as a maximum at this point. So you can either build up to that or you can have it in the middle. I decided to have it on the 4th day. And that way I can build up to that doing specific stroke work and skills work, and then I can come off of that doing speed work and skills work again. Finally, we would have a fun session at the end, which has an hour of reasonable swimming and then an hour of fun gala to finish off the camp with a really good feel to it. Now, once you decide the volumes you're going to do, you've then got to decide how you're going to achieve that. And here we have a morning and afternoon focus, and where the first afternoon was just getting feel for a 50-metre pool, which does actually take a little bit of getting used to. Initially, when you start in a 15-metre pool, you think you're swimming so slowly because halfway through you think you should have come to an end. And speed, front crawl and more acclimatization, fly, back and breast. So we've gone through all the strokes once we get to day 3 because we do 3-style. We're then doing threshold, which is going to set us up for the 75 100s. 75 100s, then the Olympic session. Olympic session is where you do every single event in the Olympics. Now, generally, the team that wins is not the team that actually has the best swimmers. It's the team that has the best teamwork. So that's quite a good team building exercise. We then want to recover from a very hard day, 13,600, and we'll go from form and starts. So we're doing work off the blocks. We've then got 15-metre breakouts, speed and 100s, race pacing and filming, and then fast swimming and a fun gala. And that will round everything off. Now, after we've done all that, it's time to plan the individual sessions. And I happen to do this on the spreadsheet, even if I'm converting it to Training Peaks and things like that, and these were on Training Peaks. I always initially do it in a spreadsheet format because that calculates the time that things are going to take and the distances, and then gives me this nice down here L1 to L5 intensities that I'm going to have done in each session. And you can see each session's planned out exactly as I want it to be, slowly but surely improving their confidence in swimming faster and faster hundreds, so that literally on that 4th day we can get to the 75 100 set. And you can see on the 75 100 set we've got to get down to 12 100s at 125, and that's quite fast when you've already done 30 100s or thereabouts. Then the Olympic set in the afternoon is every single event of the Olympics, the relays, the individual swims, all of them. Enjoyable session, but after you've just done 75 100s, that's quite tough, especially the fly elements. Then we ease it down, get faster and faster, and slowly but surely get to our last day when we're going to have a fun gala for half the session. The final important factor in the camp are land training sessions. You need land training sessions because you really want to instill upon the swimmers the importance of core stability and actually working muscles so that you can balance up what happens in swimming. Swimming is very one way, and you want to balance up those muscles so they don't get hunched shoulders and things like that. So you just work out your land training session in exactly the same way, and you decide what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So you have a good idea of what you're going to do before you get there. Now, we'd planned all of these sessions meticulously, but what we did do in the last day, on the sixth day, we actually had, instead of doing the core mix session, we actually did a spin bike session. We had enough spin bikes for the whole camp, and we did that. So flexibility has to remain there, but having a plan before you get out there is hugely important. In exactly the same way as the swim sessions need planning, land training needs planning. So what about the feel for the camp? Well, I just put together a little bit of footage that should give you a feel of what going to a camp is like and what it is. Hopefully you'll enjoy that, and we'll come back at the end and discuss it. Start. Still dark. Luckily we're not getting up too early. This is just 7:30 in the morning, walking to breakfast. We've actually got 9 till 11 as our first session, which is quite civilised for a swim camp. But I think in our case it's particularly necessary. We've got some young swimmers who at this hour of the morning would be pretty cold if we had it any earlier. A session, and that session effectively was a taster session, getting used to a 50-metre pool. A couple of the swimmers got pretty cold towards the end, and that's concerning. The problem is water here isn't necessarily heated, and therefore it's at 24 degrees-ish. At 24 degrees the younger ones tend to get a little bit cold. But yesterday we also had a bit of a wind and some rain, and when that happens, every time you put your arm out the water,
which happens a lot in swimming. That arm gets a little bit colder, and for the younger ones, they tend to freeze up on that. So we have to keep a close eye if they start becoming unresponsive, answering questions very slowly, if they start just looking a little bit blue in the lips, then we really have to haul them out and get them into a shower. Hopefully with a bit of food, a bit of sleep, we'll be okay today, starting at 9 o'clock. Okay, so I'm just heading to breakfast. See you soon.
Get ready to go! Oh my gosh, let's loose.
So there's a little flavour of a camp. Hopefully this has helped you if you're deciding to do a camp, or if you want your children to go on a camp and see what it's like. There's always stress in a camp, and when you come back you have to recover before you're going to actually perform at your best. You are not going to perform at your best straight off a camp. You're overstressed, your muscles are tired. Okay, next week we're going to hopefully deal with that nasty problem of pulling the arm back and pulling the elbow back again. I think we can help you out of the water in terms of trying to get used to that position. So keep a keen eye on next week. Like this video if you have, and of course leave any comments you want. I'll try to get round to answering them. Thanks very much for watching.